Please explain for us Europeans that don't get it. There is a big road that many people use, and a truck underneath it was on fire. And the heat from the truck make the road break. And it's actually really bad. Take a look at this. It's actually really bad. Do we need music? Now I'm worried about copyright. Why the music?
Oh my god, the road's falling.
Yeah, maybe. That's a lot of smoke, huh? Oh my god, why are these drivers driving over a road with a noticeable slack? If I was driving on the freeway and I saw that a portion of the dividing line, the like wall that surrounds the road, was like dipping inward in the portion ahead of me, I would slam on the brakes so hard, I would rather be rear-ended than go over that. Are you kidding me? I'll survive a rear-ending. I would not survive it if that thing collapsed. They're Philly drivers, they're psychos, it's in the water. That is true. That is true. It is Philadelphia. You know? It is Philadelphia. Yeah, so, it collapsed. Now, to make it clear why this is such a big deal, because, you know, things happen to roads, this is the I-95. This is we'll just say this is a critical component of Philadelphia's, not just Philadelphia, but like broadly, like the infrastructure. Yeah, it's the highway. It's the I-95. I mean, take a look.
Breaking right now on Action News. A shocking scene unfolded this morning on I-95. Parts of the northbound lanes completely collapsed.
The gang is up to shenanigans. This will make for a good... They probably will make an episode on this.
Into Coney. This after a tanker truck underneath an overpass caught fire. The heat causing that roadway to buckle and come crashing down. This happened between the Academy and Cotman exits. Chopper 6 is live over the active scene right now. Both sides are shut down as crews work to get control of the situation. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson has been talking to officials throughout the day. And Becca, what have you learned?
Nydia, sources tell me that a call came into state police saying from a company that's...
This road goes all along the East Coast. Yeah, literally. It's like, it's huge. It's incredibly large. It's incredibly important.
Says the truck is theirs. At this point, we're told that police and ATF are trying to...
Please explain for us Europeans that don't get it. There is a big road that many people use. And a truck underneath it was on fire. And the heat from the truck make the road break. And it's actually really bad.
Locate that driver. We're also told at this point that the White House has been briefed on this. 95 is not only a major road for Philadelphia, but the entire Northeast, and the impacts of this are going to be felt for a very long time, and for, of course, a lot of people. I want to give you a look behind me at the scene as it stands now. You can still see a lot of crews are out there. There are thousands and thousands of pounds of roadway on Cotman Avenue right now. Of course, 95, part of it just buckled. Take a look at video from Chopper 6. You can see that piece of 95 that buckled to the ground, in the road, as eerie as it is, deserted around it. That's the 95 overpass over Cotman Avenue, and the interstate, of course, closed for miles around this. It did happen on the northbound side, but as that collapsed...
Apparently, people are saying no motorists were hurt, which is good, but the destruction of this piece of infrastructure is going to cause an unbelievable amount of human suffering, in the form of lost time to traffic, in the form of lost revenue and income broadly economically for people on every level of the, you know, the social strata. Yeah, it's really bad. The Unabomber's final act. Ambulances. Yeah, it's really, really, really bad. Who do we invade to make them pay? Can we invade Iraq again? They had about as much to do with this as they did with 9/11, so, like, I mean, invade Iran? That sounds hard. That sounds difficult. Let's invade Florida. I can get behind that. The I-95 does run through Florida, so you know maybe they sent people up there. Yeah, I'm not even sure this happened. Notably, mind you, this isn't even. I'm not even talking like politics right now. Like this isn't. I don't even have a prescription here. This collapse was not necessarily the product of any like lacking infrastructure, like any failed maintenance. Maybe it was. I don't know for sure, but this can just happen. You know. Incredible amount of heat. It was like a gasoline tanker, so the heat could have risen and made the rebar expand. Or I mean, heat just does things to things. You know, heat does stuff to things. But I don't think there's any evidence to suggest there's anything behind this except for bad luck. I just feel really bad. It is worth noting, though, that a system which relies so heavily on highways to get people within a city to other cities and to other parts in the city is innately vulnerable to these kinds of problems, right? Like if we rely so heavily on these massive superhighways, it does make us vulnerable to these issues. And considering road maintenance is so expensive and difficult and costly and it takes so long to do, you know, these situations are going to arise. Roads need to be replaced more or less once every 30 years. I think with highways, because most roads are made of asphalt. Highways are made of concrete, which is different. It's much more rigid, it's harder, it's sturdier, it's stronger, it can handle trucks more. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the average time is for needing to renovate or repair a highway, but the process of doing so is really, really, really expensive, you know? How efficient are trains for transportation? In terms of energy loss, trains are mathematically the most efficient way to move things on the ground. I do not think there is a way more efficient than that. That is the apex of that. What about the other road that looks fine? Well, it's probably damaged too. It might just not have collapsed. Talk about how high-speed rail would have prevented this. Yeah, you know, it's just really unfortunate. Except for pipelines. Yes, we could achieve maximum urbanist leftism by reducing all humans into a homogenate of blood and bone, which we would then pump through. We would pump the slurry through piping, and that would actually be the most efficient way of moving people around. That is the solution to our problems. Futurama pipes? Yeah, we just need people to be liquid when moving through them. Maybe one day. Isn't that the plot to Ava? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I do feel really bad for the people in Philly, though. Let me finish this video here. See if there's any new information delivered. This happened about a little less than a day ago, I think.
Collapse happened the southbound side.
No. It would have been earlier today this happened, right? No, it was earlier today. No, sorry. I thought for some reason that it was late last night.
Has also been compromised, so all of 95 is closed between Woodhaven Road, which is in the far northeast, all the way down to Aramingo Avenue in Port Richmond. It's because of this. The action cam was on the ground this morning as flames erupted from a tanker truck around 6:20. Whatever was inside that
another benefit, of course, of trains as a general mode of transport is that, as I understand it, repairing train infrastructure. Let's move away from Mike Ermintrout here. Thank you. It's that repairing train infrastructure is actually pretty cheap and easy. Like if you think about it, right? Like a highway is like, we're talking this like, I don't know, like 50-foot wide, like infinity long, gigantic superstructure of concrete and steel that has to be like structured properly, and you have to lay it and like give it time because it needs to settle into the earth, or you have like these gaps in between like the raised portions and the existing portions. And it's like, well, train infrastructure is railroad tracks, which, as I understand it, is metal bars on wooden planks with like gravel. I think you can do that a lot faster. So the biggest wear and tear that we get on our roads and on our highways is from trucks. In fact, the wear of trucks is so much greater than that of regular cars that in many calculations, road engineers do not even do math on how many cars will run over a street. That's right. When it comes to maintenance and predictions on damage, they do not even factor in cars, because a car is what, 2, 3, 4,000 pounds. Trucks are tons and tons and tons, and you can spread that weight across a bunch of wheels, but still, trucks do a lot of damage, an enormous amount of damage. It's yeah. Train infrastructure is also less susceptible to environmental damage. Road seeps into asphalt and concrete. Water seeps into the road, into the asphalt and concrete. It'll freeze in the winter, which causes it to expand, and that's what creates potholes. Water itself can create potholes even without the ice. The ice just exacerbates it. Yeah, you know. Oh, no, I'm not saying you can fully replace freight trucks, not at all. I mean, ideally, you would have like a robust train yard that runs to a couple distribution centers, and you could have trucks move things within the city. Ideally, smaller trucks than the ones we see used all over the place, but I mean, it'd have to vary. You got to get stuff places. Am I saying this for a reason? Does anyone care about this general info on the... Okay, you know what? Let's just finish the video.
That truck burned fast and strong. We started to hear explosions out here on Cottman Avenue as the fumes were seeping into manholes. Another challenge for the firefighters as they tried to tame all of the smoke. I want to show you this video from Lisa Tormino. She was driving to work on 95 this morning. She said by the time she realized that the smoke and all those flames were on the highway, it was too late. She was surrounded and her car dipped down into the road as it was buckling. She's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
You could see flames coming up on the right hand side through all this black smoke, and then all this black smoke on the right hand side, and the left hand side was worse. But the car in front of me really dipped down far.
You can hear Lisa there. It's so fortunate that she is okay and safe. Another point I wanted to make here, we don't know the environmental impacts of this at this point because we don't know still what was burning inside that tanker truck. You can see out here live.
Wasn't it gasoline? Wait.
There is still some smoke on the highway. I'm also looking at some heavy equipment. It appears that they're attempting to remove some of those thousands and thousands of pounds of highway of 95 that are sitting on Cottman Avenue.
It was jet fuel. Right, of course.
Again, we're going to be feeling the impact of this for months, if not years, here in Philadelphia. Live in Tacony, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6, Action News.
It's a big deal, is all I'm saying. And we're probably going to see more issues like this as time goes on, you know? I mean, the amount of money that it takes to maintain our enormous highway and road infrastructure across the country. I mean, this bleeds cities, states just dry. We're going to see stuff like this probably happen more with time. It's, country's rotting a little bit. We have sensible solutions to these problems, you know. They exist. We just don't invest in them. More, well, there's your problem episodes. Nice, always looking at the bright side. Why does it cost so much? Okay, let me put it this way. This is just a comparative example. It's kind of simplified, all right? Imagine that you want to do a little experiment, all right? So you want to make a little road system, like a little garage kind of thing, little deal, little diorama. But you're going to put it outside. You're going to make it out of wood, and you're going to make it out of paper mache. Now, building that to begin with, this big looping track of road networks and highways, is probably going to take you a lot of time and effort. But once you're done, you're done. And then you set it outside. Now, how long, exposed to the elements, do you think it would take before the amount of time you've spent maintaining it exceeds the amount of time it took you to build it? Especially considering the fact that unless you want to fully upend and replace a part, you know, the damage done by rain, wear, exposure to the elements, animals, whatever else, often is quite finicky and involves like road surgery, you know? It's just one of those systems where the greatest cost is not up front. I don't know if that was a good example. It's very expensive. Okay, there.